왜 가장 잘 어울리는 건 뭐니 뭐니 해도 떡볶이, 다음 오뎅 국물, 그중에 최고 뭐예요? 뭐?
모두가 생각하는 라면.
라면이지. 라면.
간 다 돼 있는 거 아는데도 또 거기서 한 젓가락을 먹어야 돼 이게. 거기서 한 젓가락 딱 먹어봐. 이건 다 알아 이제. 이미 우린 요리사기 때문에 다 아는데도 한 젓가락 먹고. 라면을 탁 먹으면 촉촉하면서 국물하고 해가지고 입에서 이게 말아서 들어간 건지 따로 먹었는지 모르겠어. 갑자기.
김밥은 옹알스다.
모든 이가 사랑한다.
모두가 다 즐길 수 있다.
맞아.
네.
옹알스는 김밥이고 김밥 너무 맛있어. 김밥집 하네.
김 먹었어.
held its first debate over the weekend.
The economy is expected to expand 2.5% this year.
Boosting Korea's ties with its global partners on the sidelines of the Status UN summit.
A massive drone attack on Ukraine overnight on Monday and Tuesday.
Arirang.
여러분 반갑습니다. I'm Kwon So-hwa and this is K-Culture Dive. Join us in taking a deep dive into the heart of Korean culture, from K-entertainment to AI news, K-culture and photos, and in our Hallyu People segment today, we invite a new media artist. So with that, let's dive in. Now, throughout this entire week, Walter Lee is joining me on the show to co-host. Hello, Walter. Happy Thursday.
Hello, Soa, and yes, hello to everyone joining us on K-Culture Dive today. I'm Walter Lee, here to co-host alongside Soa and bring you the latest in K-entertainment stories.
So, Walter, let's kick off with K-Enter News then. The Cannes Film Festival officially kicked off earlier this week on Tuesday local time, as you reported before. And there's especially excitement over there because for us especially, because there's quite a big presence of Koreans there.
There is indeed, Soa. So, Korean director Park Chan-wook is one of those presents, and he has been drawing a lot of attention for being the first Korean to serve as president of the competition jury at the Cannes International Film Festival. Now, at a press conference held in the French resort of Cannes on Tuesday, Park told the media that Korea is no longer considered a minor country in cinema. and he thinks that's why he was chosen to serve as jury president.
And I heard that director Park mentioned how glad he is that 3 Korean films were invited to this prestigious film festival. And one of those, actually, he will be judging. That's Hope.
Yeah.
So is that an advantage? I mean, can we hope for a good result?
Oh, well, fingers crossed, but right, yes, the science fiction thriller Hope, directed by Na Hong-jin, is the one included in the competition section this year. However, director Park stated that just because there are Korean films included, that doesn't mean he will give them higher scores. Now, Park has maintained a long and deep connection with Cannes Film Festival. He won the Grand Prix for Oldboy back in 2004, the jury prize for Thirst in 2009, and the Best Director for Decision to Leave in 2022.
Okay, from K-films now to K-pop. Now, what would K-enter be without BTS? So what do you have for us today?
Yes, today it's no doubt that BTS are loved all around the world, and today, the Latin American community have been growing and showing their enthusiasm more than ever. Now, countries such as Brazil and Mexico have even surpassed Korea in music streaming numbers recently. Looking at the first week streaming figures by country for BTS's latest album, Arirang, the US ranked first with 115 million streams. Now, this was followed by Brazil with 78.6 million, Mexico with 75.9 million, and South Korea with 58.3 million. Now, tickets for the Mexico City Arirang concerts sold out instantly, filling all 150,000 seats as soon as sales opened, while still tens of thousands of fans who could not get their hands on tickets gathered around the venue to enjoy the atmosphere. Now, due to this overwhelming response from the Latin American fans, on the other side of the world, BTS has already added 1 additional concert each in Lima, Santiago, and Buenos Aires.
And now let's talk about a boy group that's going on their first ever world tour.
Yes, indeed. So Boy Next Door are set to embark on their first world tour since their debut. Now, on Wednesday, the group announced the launch of their world tour, Boy Next Door Tour Knock On Volume 2, through official social media channels and the fan platform Weverse. Now, the tour will kick off with concerts in Seoul from July 17th through to 19th. And after the Seoul concerts, the boys will go down to Busan and then fly across the little pond to 6 cities in Japan, 10 cities in North America, and lastly 6 major cities in Asia. Meanwhile, ahead of the world tour, Boy Next Door will make their return with their first full-length album called Home on June 8th. The group has already pre-released a track called Tok 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 from the autobiographical album, and will begin music show promotions starting this week.
All right, thank you very much, Walter, for those updates, and stick around.
Will do.
And now we move on to our AI anchor Arirang for more on the culture front. Arirang.
Thanks, Sua. Here's your AI guide to the latest cultural headlines from Korea. Let's begin with our top story. The Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism is expanding support for cruise port tourism amid surging demand for cruise travel to South Korea. The ministry will inject 3.4 billion won, or roughly $2.3 million in supplementary funding, to streamline immigration procedures and develop tourism programs for cruise passengers during port stays. The ministry says about 320,000 cruise tourists visited South Korea in the first quarter of this year, a more than 11% from a year earlier. Total cruise arrivals this year are projected to reach 960, a jump of more than 63% on year. The ministry is aiming to turn cruise tourism from simple stopovers into a driver of regional tourism growth. 7 in 10 foreign residents in South Korea enjoy domestic travel during the one-year period from November 2024 to October 2025. According to the survey released on Wednesday by the Culture Ministry and the Korea Tourism Organization, about 70% said that they traveled domestically. More than 60% of respondents said they took overnight trips lasting at least 2 days and 1 night. The most popular overnight destinations were Gangwon-do Province, Busan, and Jeju-do Island. Nearly 94% preferred independent travel, reflecting a strong trend towards self-guided tourism. The most popular activities were taking in natural scenery and sampling local food. More than 2/3 of respondents said they would invite friends or acquaintances from their home countries to visit Korea. Seo Kyung-dok, a professor at Sungsin Women's University and a passionate promoter of Korean culture, is launching a global campaign to correct Korean language spelling errors at major sites worldwide. That's as Korea marks King Sejong's birthday on May 15th. Seo plans to work with travelers and online users through social media to identify incorrect Korean signage and translations at airports, tourist attractions, museums, and galleries around the world. He plans to collect reports through Hangul Day on October 9th before requesting corrections to relevant institutions. Seo says growing global interest in K-pop, K-dramas, and K-food makes this the right time to further promote the Korean language worldwide. That's all from me. Turning now to a quick look at more K-culture stories making headlines today.
Through a single photo at a time, we take a closer look at culture in Korea. This is K-Culture in Photos. The Korean word 스승 means teacher, but it carries a slightly deeper feeling than the everyday word 선생님. While both refer to teachers, 스승 often describes someone who guides not only knowledge, but also life itself. And tomorrow, May 15th, is Teacher's Day in Korea. To celebrate, some schools prepared unforgettable events for their teachers. In one scene, teachers walk down a red carpet wearing elegant hanbok and formal suits, while students cheer loudly and hand them carnations. It almost looks like an award ceremony. Other photos capture students pinning flowers onto their teachers and parents joining in to express appreciation as well. One especially touching moment shows older adult students standing beside their teachers in tears, a reminder that learning, gratitude, and respect have no age limit. And the celebrations even reached the night sky, with drones forming a letter to teachers as well as carnations with glowing messages reading, "Thank you, respected teachers." These women may all be dressed differently and come from different generations, but on this beach, they move together in perfect rhythm. Across Korea, wellness tourism programs are growing in popularity, and beach yoga has become one of the most peaceful ways to slow down and recharge. With the sound of waves nearby, participants stretch and balance barefoot on the sand while following the instructor's calm movements. A few people wobble slightly trying to keep their balance, but that somehow makes the scene feel even more human and relaxing. And the healing continues after sunset. Another series of photos shows starlight yoga taking place outdoors at night beside the Hangang River. Under soft lights and the cool evening breeze, participants quietly focus on their breathing and movements. Yoga mats lined across the darkened park, city lights glowing in the background. It almost feels like the entire city pauses for a moment of stillness. These tumblers are hard to miss. Bright pink, neon yellow, orange, decorated with stickers, keychains, and charms, many young Koreans now treat tumblers almost like fashion accessories. For the younger generations, customizing a tumbler has become another way to express your personality and style. But then things get a little funnier. Because recently, a trend began spreading online where people started putting food inside tumblers instead of drinks. Tteokbokki, fish cakes, even butter potatoes from highway rest stops. Young people say tumblers help keep the food warm longer and make snacking more convenient on the go. At the same time, reusable cups are also being encouraged for environmental reasons. Many cafes now offer extra reward points for bringing personal tumblers, and during a recent government campaign, carbon-neutral reward points for reusable cups were temporarily doubled. Some offices have even started installing tumbler washing machines to encourage employees to keep using reusable cups more comfortably. At first glance, this almost looks like a scene from a science fiction film. Inside a school cafeteria kitchen, a cooking robot carefully fries food while students watch in amazement from nearby. And these machines are learning to do much more than simple tasks. Some can fry crispy chicken and prepare the grilled fish dishes like Jeju-style grilled fish, and even handle meals for hundreds of students at once. Other robots specialize in noodle dishes, moving with surprising speed and precision as they prepare steaming bowls of noodles. And yes, some can even brew coffee. Supporters say these kitchen robots can help reduce the intense physical workload placed on cafeteria workers while also improving consistency and safety in busy kitchens. And together, these scenes captured gratitude, healing, creativity, and innovation shaping moments across Korea this season. An extraordinary and unprecedented achievement has recently taken place at the University of Oxford's Ashmolean Museum, one of the world's oldest university museums, where the doctoral thesis of a Korean contemporary artist has been permanently acquired. Presented as a 10-meter-long hanji scroll, this remarkable work was created by Dr. Lee Jin-joon, an acclaimed media artist and professor at KAIST's Graduate School of Culture Technology. Today, we'll learn more about this unique project, its artistic significance, and Professor Lee's broader creative world. So please join me in welcoming him into the studio. Hello, Professor Lee.
Hello, Professor.
Hi, good to see you here.
Happy to have you on this show. So first and foremost, please introduce yourself a little bit to our viewers, and also tell us a bit about KAIST's Graduate School of Culture Technology with a stress on culture.
Right. Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me. My name is Jin-joon Lee, the professor and artist in the Graduate School of the Culture and Technology in the KAIST. The KAIST, also I'm leading the KAIST Art and Technology Center now. When people think KAIST, they usually think about science and engineering school. But our Graduate School of the Culture and Technology is a little different. For the past 20 years, it has been a place where technology meets art, design, culture, and humanities. In that sense, it seems like the same spirit to the MIT Media Lab. In my own work, I often use AI, data, sound, and immersive media. I use them to ask how our senses and experiences are changing today. For me, technology is not just a tool, it is a medium that makes us ask again how we understand the world. I make artworks, but also I study the theory and history of technology. I'm especially interested in how we use AI and why critical thinking is becoming more important than before.
That is interesting. So, Professor Lee, let's talk about your work that I mentioned in the opening. It is a doctoral thesis, but you wrote it not in a conventional book, but a hanji scroll. It's 10 meters long. So why did you use this format, and also why was it hanji?
Well, yeah, my Oxford doctoral thesis was not made as just normal book, as you mentioned. Its title is Empty Garden. The subtitle is A Liminal Journey to Nowhere and Somewhere. It took the form of the 10 meters long scroll made on hanji. Hanji is a traditional Korean paper. It is made from the inner bark of the mulberry tree. It is strong and can be last for a very long time, but it's also soft and delicate. I chose the scroll form because the thesis itself was about gardens, working, and space in between. And you cannot see a scroll all at once. You have to open it slowly, follow it, and spend time with it. I wanted reading the thesis to feel like walking through the garden. And for me, hanji was not just a material. It is deeply connected to East Asian history of writing, painting, recording, and preserving. What matters was that I used the last laser printer on hanji, one of Korea's oldest media, met one of today's printing technologies on the same surface. I made 9 copies in this way. The process was slow and careful. I placed the text, images, drawings, and notes on the hanji. I paid attention to the spaces between them, their scale, and small differences in position. I wanted one question to lead naturally to the next. In this way, the work became both a doctoral thesis and an artwork. This form was necessary because the thesis was not only about knowledge in the head, it was about something experienced through the body and through the time.
So could you maybe elaborate on also the content of this thesis? So what is it about? What's the core ideas of it?
Yeah, the core main theme of the thesis is a liminoid. It is an anthropological term. It means in between state, a place that is somewhere and nowhere at the same time. I'm interested in places and experiences that cannot be fixed into one meaning. A garden is a good example. It is read, but it's also imagined. It looks like a nature, but it's carefully made by people. It looks quiet, but many senses and layers of time are moving inside it. In East Asian gardens, emptiness is not just an empty space. It is space left open. So imagination and the sense can move freely. Well, the title Empty Garden, A Limited Journey, Liminoid Journey to Nowhere Somewhere, contains this idea. We can be somewhere and yet also feel as if we are nowhere. I connected this to media art because digital technology also creates space in between reality and virtuality, between body and image, between nature and the artificial.
Right, and having your work permanently purchased by the Ashmolean Museum is an exceptionally rare accomplishment, so congratulations. But what was your immediate reaction to this achievement?
Well, honestly, I was very surprised and deeply grateful. The Ashmolean is not an ordinary museum. It opens in 17th century. It is known as the world's first university museum and also as British first public museum. It was founded long before the British Museum or the Louvre in Paris. In that sense, it stands at the beginning of the Western museum tradition. When I heard that the Ashmolean had decided to purchase my doctoral thesis for its permanent collection, it felt very special. It felt as if a personal journey of research and art, it becomes from Korean, was quietly entering much larger public history of the Western knowledge. After the process was completed, the curator asked me how I felt. I said that one day my son, his son, and his son, and the later generation might come here, read this thesis, and understand what I saw, what I felt, and how far I tried to go.
That would be very touching to see. And could you explain how significant actually such an acquisition is and what it represents in both the art and academic world?
Exactly. I think this acquisition is very meaningful in several ways. And first, it shows that a doctoral thesis does not have to remain only one academic document. It can also become an artwork and a cultural object as well. This work brings together Korean tradition paper, East Asian garden thought, and contemporary media art within one form. When a work enters the museum collection, it enters a long-term system of the preservation, research, exhibition, and public access. It will be cared for, studied, shown, and shared with future audiences. So I do not see this only as just personal honor. I hope it can also help us think again about Korean art research through practice and the relationship between art and scholarship. People often talk about the Renaissance figure, but I feel closer to the East Asian artist-scholar tradition, literati, where art, technology, poetry, philosophy, and humanistic thought were not separate.
Right, and looking beyond your hanji thesis, you have created a wide range of sculptural and artistic works as well. Are there any particular pieces that especially you're attached to or would like to introduce to our viewers at all?
Well, I have to talk about a more recent project, and I'd like to introduce two works that look very different, but actually share the same question in the age of AI. One is 9 Reincarnation series. It is a post-digital series about AI images, the body, place, and memory. I begin with images made with AI, then I printed them, cut them, make collage, scan them again, work on them digitally, print them onto the canvas, and then finally draw or paint my hand. The image moves again and again between the digital and the physical. So I call this process 9 reincarnations, because the image is not simply finished once, it dies, changes, and returns in another form. This is not a return to traditional painting. It is media work on a flat surface. I'm asking, what an image can be remembered in the age of AI? Can an image remember a body? Can it remember a place? Can it still carry time, touch, and memory? Recently, I also directed a large-scale media performance called Cine Forest, Awakening Bloom. It brought together projection, orchestra, chorus, AI voice, and public space. We mapped media across the 200-meter forest. The forest was not a background, it became a participant in the performance. There was a choir of around 1,000 local citizens with about 800 AI voice agents. The 70-member orchestra performed live at the same time. The rain, wind, even insect sound, a bird song, and machine sounds all became a part of the work. One question runs through all these works: how can technology do more than make us faster? How can it help us feel the world more deeply? For me, that is the most important question.
That is remarkable. And Professor Lee, what's also remarkable is your unique career path. I heard you were also a broadcast producer, and you were also in business and fine art, of course. So did you have a turning point that led you to become an artist?
Yeah, I got many times I got these questions. At first, I studied business at the Seoul National University. After all, I worked in broadcasting. Then, against my parents' wishes, I returned to the fine art. Later, I studied media art at the Royal College of Art in London, and completed my doctorate in the philosophy of the fine art at the University of Oxford. In the end, I realized that everything comes back to philosophy. Looking back, the biggest turning point was the moment I realized that art could hold these all different things experienced together. Business gave me an eye of the system. Broadcasting made me think about imagery, current time, and audiences. Fine art gave me a language to turn those experiences into deeper questions. So I did not become an artist by abandoning my past. I become an artist by carrying all of this with me.
Professor Lee, we have time for just one more question, unfortunately. Do you have a final message to aspiring artists and researchers, or do you want to mention one upcoming project?
Yeah, please do not use technology just because it's new. The real question is why we use technology and what kind of human experience it creates. Technology is powerful, but art and research also need to protect slowness, memory, care, and imagination. The better technology is, more quietly it should disappear. Then art can appear. Otherwise, it becomes only a technology demonstrations. So there is one thing I'd like to say to young artists and researchers. Please study deeply, but while you study, please also listen to your own body, the place where you stand, and your own culture. In the age of AI, the most important question is not only what machine can do, the real question is this: what kind of human beings do we want to become? So we need a courage to stop sometimes, stop, breathe, and stay where you are.
Very philosophical, and thank you very much, Professor Yi, for sharing your story with us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me again. Thank you.
And thank you, Walter, as always. We're going to have you back here tomorrow.
See you very soon.
Thanks for watching and your interest in everything K-culture. Please tune in again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Korea time. Keep diving.